Welcome to the Celtics FINALLY podcast, the weekly show covering the Boston Celtics. Today I'm joined by host Jeff Kidger. What's up, Jeff?
Not too much. I'm happy the Celtics are doing well again. They are way too closely tied to my mood, which is a very unhealthy relationship to have to this team. But right now I'm happy that they're doing great.
Yeah, there's a lot to be happy about. We took down 3 teams in the last 3 games. It's a lot to be happy about. Sixers game, not the best thing in the world, but we'll get into it. But today we're gonna recap those 4 games real quick. We're gonna give our MVP of the week, and then we're gonna dive into: is this team back? Is this Celtics team back? Are we contenders? And then we're gonna go into our predictions for the rest of these West Coast teams, and then we're gonna wrap up the show. All right, let's get into it. What did you think about that first Sixers game?
The Sixers game was disgusting. It started kind of like the way I thought it was going to be a low-scoring game where they kind of went back and forth for a while, but eventually, the Sixers defense was way too good. It was better than I thought, and then they pulled away, and it was really disgusting after that.
Yeah, we sucked in the first half, and that simple as that. I was watching the game at a bar, and I just kept drinking.
Yeah, makes sense.
It helped.
Makes
it
sense.
helped. I'm not gonna lie. But I mean, we were definitely missing Tristan Thompson.
Absolutely,
to say the least. Because Taco Fall just came in so early, and that was pretty much the end of it. When I saw him come in the second quarter, I knew it was over.
Taco actually did a pretty good job. Surprisingly,
he did a good job, but he's not an NBA player yet.
Yeah, he's still Taco Fall.
So he's still so raw.
Yeah, but
you didn't expect too much from him.
Did you notice that Embiid didn't really try to go down on the block when
he
Taco
did
was
once or twice?
Yeah, but it was a lot less. I was surprised he didn't try to go at him.
I mean, I would.
Yeah, he's huge, obviously, but he's so slow.
Someone that tall should definitely stop somebody from going to the paint a few times.
Yeah, makes sense.
But we're definitely missing Tristan Thompson, and then Evan Fournier, obviously out with health and safety for the last few games.
Yeah.
It's okay. I mean, he'll be back because obviously we've been winning some games, so we haven't needed him as much. But when he comes back and he can find a role in this offense, I think this is going to be a really scary team in the playoffs as we kind of gain some momentum. But the Knicks game, what was your opinion on that one?
That was, before the Nuggets game happened, that was my favorite game, almost probably of the season, because I think every single time before that you see a game where the Celtics go into the fourth quarter trailing and are forced to kind of execute, they fall flat on their face. That was the first time I'd seen it in such a long time, where the Celtics actually just out-executed a team, and it was beautiful to see.
Yeah, they almost folded too, though. They almost folded 3 or 4 times in the fourth quarter.
They did. They have a habit of doing that.
Minutes. Yeah, but they saved themselves, and that's the important part. They fight a lot, and this entire season has been either we're up 15 and then we lose it, or we're down 15 and then we have to come back, and then it's a matter of can we close that game out.
Yeah, those games always end up being really close, like with the Mavericks getting destroyed and then come back, and it's just you fall short. They come back just enough to give me hope.
Yeah, those are heartbreak games where you hate the team after for a little bit.
Yeah.
For a couple hours, you're a little angry, but the last 3 games we've had that same thing happen every single game where we're either down big or we're up big, and the other team has come back, like in the Timberwolves game. At the end of the game, what happened?
Yeah, I thought that was going to be the exception. I thought, there's no way, there's 3 or 4 minutes left, they're going to blow an 11-point lead. There's no team can do that. At game 50-something, I'm still underestimating.
I was expecting it to happen.
You were? Okay, we were on different pages. Then I had hope. The Knicks game gave me too much hope, and now I'm back on that with them beating the Nuggets too. So I'm going to get hurt again soon, and I know it.
Now, so that Timberwolves game, the entire time I was like, we're gonna blow this 53-point game for Tatum. Like he's gonna have a 50-plus point game, and we're gonna lose to one of the worst teams in the NBA. And I don't know what the storyline's gonna be, and I'm glad that I don't even have to experience that.
Yep, wins or wins. Doesn't matter. It says
Yeah,
OT,
wins are
but
wins.
I don't care. Looking back, you avoided a bad loss. That's fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then yesterday in the Nuggets game, I mean, I thought we were gonna lay down and die to a Jamal Murray-less Nuggets team,
Yep.
but we ended up fighting our way back once again. Theme of the week, fight. Um, every chance we got, we were diving for balls. Which Grant Williams, he'll have like 2 or 3 rebounds a game, but they're always like game-saving rebounds.
Yeah, Grant's been like, or he was in that game, my favorite player. Usually, you could see it over the course of the season. He would do so many stupid things at the end of the game. You want
Well,
him to.
he does something stupid every game,
He does, but
literally every game.
it's always, or it had been recently, always in the fourth quarter, where he commits this dumb foul that kind of gets them in trouble and close to the bonus, and it just kind of makes it so the other team can bleed out the clock and they win. It usually happens, but this against the Nuggets, he defended Jokic beautifully. My favorite part, my favorite part of the whole thing was when Jermichael Green fouled Romeo Langford, and where he probably should have gotten a flagrant one. I feel kind of soft saying that or asking for it on that kind of play, but I feel like in today's NBA that's a flagrant one. But then Grant comes over and defends Romeo. And I was so happy. Hadn't seen that all season, getting each other's back, having all the energy. I was so happy.
It seemed like Grant had he had attitude in that game, that entire game. Like when he was defending Jokic, he was getting in his face and just like he straight mean mugging the entire time.
Yeah, did you see when
94 feet, just like yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, did you see when he chest bumped Tristan, and Tristan was in pain afterwards, and the Grant just didn't break his character at all.
No, not at all.
No, he wasn't messing around. He wasn't, and he was going after the MVP. It was beautiful.
Yeah, he was defending his teammates. He was defending the other team, which is more important. But he was doing such a great job defensively, and I mean, it kind of made up for all the stupid things he does, like when he kind of just bowling balls his way down the paint and gets to travel or whatever it is. But I mean,
I think
the win.
Yeah,
the win's a win.
Yeah, exactly. I think I've criticized Grant more this season than you have. Maybe you've always been on the Grant train.
I think everybody has criticized Grant Williams this season.
The thing is like I've always thought at his best he's the perfect modern NBA role player.
He's the perfect Swiss Army knife.
Exactly.
At full strength.
Yeah, he's awesome. But when he's not playing well, or when he wasn't earlier this season, he was maybe unplayable. Yeah, exactly. So I criticize him for that, but there are so many people out there that'll say he has no spot at any point on an NBA roster, and that's just kind of ridiculous. He showed it last night that he can be exactly what the Celtics need in certain matchups. So like, I love him, and if he can be consistent, he would be great.
Yeah, I try to stay out of those Grant Williams talks.
Yeah, you save yourself a lot of stress.
Yeah, we don't need to be defending Grant Williams.
No Grant Williams slander.
I feel like if you know the value he brings, then that's where the conversation ends. There shouldn't be any convincing. I shouldn't have to convince you the value of Grant Williams. That's kind of just the eye test. Just watch the game and you'll see it.
Yeah, and then what was are we on to the Timberwolves now? Is that the next game?
Yeah, we kind of...
Yeah, we did cover a lot.
All the games, honestly.
Yeah, we did a little bit, but I wanted to kind of like formally go through the last two.
So that Timberwolves game...
Yeah.
Start to finish, that was a great game, honestly.
Yeah, it was a good game. I wish they kind of finished out.
Well, the start was rough.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The start was actually really bad. The first half was some of the worst basketball I've seen them play all year.
We shot 2 for 17 from three, which was, I mean,
Amazing.
when you look back,
Impressive, truly.
how did we win that game?
Um, but I thought they played really well in the second half. At least they could have mailed it in like they usually do. I mean, they chose not to. And you know what? It gave me one of my favorite moments with Tatum dropping 53 points.
Dude, oh my God. Like every bucket, I'm just like, wow, we have him.
Yep. And then people getting in a fight about who's better, Levine or Tatum.
Well, earlier on in the game, I mean, people were complaining that, Tatum wasn't doing enough and that,
And he just goes
our
off.
team was our team was just going to lay down and die. But I mean, in the second half, Tatum had what, 30, 38 or something like that,
Yeah, something crazy.
like 35s. So, I mean, just be patient. That's all I can
Yeah, he'll
really
get
say
there.
sometimes is just be patient with this team because they are definitely a second half team sometimes.
Yeah, that's the thing. Tatum is always a second half guy. I don't know if that's because we play poorly in the first half and he feels like he needs to bail us out, which is
Yeah,
possible. But he always, as the game goes on, he gets a feel for it and he plays a lot better in the second half.
yeah,
Every
he's
time.
definitely a rhythm player sometimes.
Yeah. So overall, wish they won by more. I wish they didn't have to go into overtime. They nearly gave me a heart attack
Hmm.
losing that lead at the end of the game. But
Yeah,
a win's a
it was
win.
nice to yeah, it was nice to get the win anyway. But then if we can just move on to the Nuggets game,
Yep. Um,
what do you think happened in the first half versus the second half for the Nuggets?
for the Nuggets. Um, I think there was a point where they were, because in the second half they got up by what, 14? Was that the peak of their
Yeah,
lead, I
I
believe.
think so. Hmm.
They started playing a little bit sloppy, like right around the end of the third, especially when uh, Kemba got that breakaway layup.
Hmm.
That's when it kind of started to go downhill. They just started playing lazy, and then they just kind of snowballed, and they couldn't get their legs back under them. And there was some weird subbing that I don't really understand why Malone did that.
Hmm.
And then Jokic coming out of the game, and yeah, it's very, very weird. Um, but I liked the way the Celtics played defense throughout, and I think eventually it just got to them.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say there's a combination between coaching and our defense because you would think after five straight turnovers, your coach would call timeout.
Yeah, that
I mean,
was
just a
very
thought.
weird. I've never seen anything like that. It was like the players collapsed. They
Hmm.
got mad. They let not the lack of calls that were borderline anyway get under their skin, and they just like mailed it in. They were just
Hmm.
they called it a day. This is the hottest team in the NBA. Hadn't lost since the trade deadline, like 8 straight games,
Hmm.
and then they come in and just give up when things got tough.
Yeah, and Aaron Gordon looked decent in the first half, but then he kind of just disappeared.
Yeah, they came in like he's
Like he
supposed to
had
be
like
the.
7 in the first half, and I think he finished with 7.
Yeah, that's so he was supposed to come in, and he has come in and defended the opposing team's best wing offensive player, which is Tatum for us.
Hmm.
And in the second half, Tatum just ate him for lunch.
Yeah,
That was
I
like
mean
their big addition, and then Tatum just took him whole time.
I mean that was kind of the theme of the week, which kind of brings us on to the next little segment. Um, MVP of the week. I mean, there shouldn't be a debate.
No, it's Jason Tatum, easy.
Yeah, it's Jason Tatum.
Yeah, you
I mean,
drop a 53-point game, you're winning. You're winning that
mhm.
award. Absolutely.
Now if we have like a secondary award, because I mean
Yes.
we can't just have a boring week. So what's the secondary award? Who wins the second MVP of the week?
Yeah. I would have loved to made. Actually, I can make the argument of Romeo Langford now.
Romeo. Okay, yeah. So I was caught between Tristan Thompson and Romeo
Oh,
Langford
that's a good one too. Tristan's a good one.
because Tristan Thompson he showed us exactly what we were missing.
Yep.
He was like, don't forget about me.
Yeah. I was
I'll
like,
put.
go ahead.
He was the perfect person to fill in with Rob.
Yeah.
He was the guy we were missing in Philly, and then everything after that showed us what we needed.
Yeah. We always
Right.
thought that Rob was the guy that you just couldn't play two bigs with, and it turns out that
Mm-hmm.
Tristan feels the same way. You
Mm-hmm.
can't play him with two bigs, and he was great. He's actually exactly what I wanted coming into the season. I just didn't give him enough credit because he was being held back by playing two bigs.
Yeah. Let me ask you, what do you think about not starting Rob but starting Tristan instead?
I think that's what they should do sometimes. So I think Rob's
So
been great.
situational,
Exactly.
like very
So
situational. Yeah.
yeah, it's a matchup thing. I really believe that because Rob still has his limitations. He still can't match
Mm.
up with certain guys. So he's been awesome, and he doesn't even play well with some of the guys on the Celtics roster. Like Kemba doesn't play particularly well with
Mm.
Rob. Actually, he plays a lot better with Tristan. So I
Yeah.
think it would be a good thing to kind of go matchup based. What do you think?
Mm. Yeah, I agree. I mean, with everybody, you should always be matchup based, but I don't think we should just start Rob just to start Rob. Like, I think it's great to give him the experience, but I don't think it's necessary to kind of play him in situations where we know he shouldn't be in. Like in that Philly game, I don't know what Brad was really thinking, but when he got those two quick early fouls on I think it was both on Embiid.
Yeah,
Honestly, it was on his signature like swipe through, and Rob just bit on both of them. He came out, but then he got subbed back in, and then like in the first quarter, and then he got his third foul like right away.
yeah.
So
I think that's just because they didn't have another choice. Like
yeah,
you're
well yeah,
either choosing Rob or you're going with
mm-hmm,
Taco Fall and Cornet. Like those are your two other options when Tristan's out.
mm-hmm,
That would have been a Tristan game through and through if he was available. Like there's no question. So I'm not that worried about that. I think Brad knows you have to play them on a matchup or on yeah, based on
mm-hmm.
matchups.
Yeah. So like in that situation, if we had Tristan Thompson, he would have been the option over Rob. So that in that situation, I would definitely start Tristan.
Yeah.
But in other situations, like I don't know, maybe like against New Orleans, like you're obviously going to want to start Rob.
Yeah, I think it's like we've been saying, it's matchup based, but I
Mm-hmm.
think Rob is going to get the lion's share of the minutes because he's proven that he should have them.
Mm-hmm.
But Tristan's making a case where he's going to get solid rotational minutes, and he deserves them too.
Yeah, I think the 28 to 30 minute mark for Rob is appropriate, but
You know, those flashes
it's
of Cornet that we were getting probably won't happen anymore. Not going to
yeah.
see a lot of him.
Is he kind of done? Do you think
Um,
he had
yeah,
his moment?
he brings something else to the table. Like no, Tristan and Rob can't shoot,
Yeah.
so like he does bring that, but he's just otherwise brings nothing else to the table.
Mm-hmm.
And I want nothing more for him than for him to be good, because I want that Green Cornet
Yeah.
nickname floating around every day.
I would probably take him over Taco Fall as our like last resort big man. Just because of his abilities like to shoot. Um, I mean, we're talking about Luke Cornett as
Yeah,
if it matters in the playoffs.
yeah, not a huge deal not to have him. That's where those minutes are coming from. So
Mm-hmm.
Tristan comes in and takes Luke Cornet's minutes, and the Celtics are instantly better. Like it's not a surprise. So,
Mm-hmm.
but you know, switching gears over to Romeo for a second.
Ah, Romeo.
They're 4-1 since you got back. All I'm saying. Uh,
He's he hustles.
yeah, he really
He
does.
has some mental lapses, which is fine, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, he's cooking.
Yeah, he's just hounding people on defense too, and it takes a
Mm-hmm.
lot of pressure off other people having to help, and it gives
Mm-hmm.
the Jays, especially with the positional overlap, of kind of taking a break on some of those guys that take a lot of their energy. So he's helping conserve the Jays' energy and doing it at a really high level.
Yeah,
So
I think we were talking about it last week. Like we just need someone to come in and hold the lead, and I mean, for a little bit,
yeah,
he was doing it, but that'll get better with time, and he's just getting started. Like you said, 4-1. He's only played 5 games,
yeah. So are
so
you going with so Tatum is the MVP of the week? So you're going with
mm.
Tristan or for the
I
other one?
I want to go with Tristan because we didn't know what we were gonna get with Romeo, and we still don't really know what we're getting with Romeo. We did see some flashes, but Tristan came back and did exactly what we thought he could do, and then even a little bit more. So I'm gonna reward him for that, and then hopefully we can get a little bit more playing time out of Romeo, and next week he can be, I mean, if not the MVP, the secondary MVP.
Yeah. No, I think Tristan is a good choice, but
Mm-hmm.
my personal one has to be Romeo. I'm such a huge fan. I've been a fan and I kind of even forgot how good he is on defense. He's been out for
His
so
shot
long.
looks crisp.
It does. Yeah, he's more like eventually he'll be more than a 3-and-D guy, but he can be a 3-and-D guy at a really high level right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it. Love to see it.
Yeah, and with him definitely coming back, but then also Evan Fournier and Tristan Thompson, is this Celtics team back? Like, are we back to kind of contention, like that tier 2 team that could get in there if certain circumstances play out?
Yeah, I think right now they're a team that shouldn't be in the play-in tournament and could
Mm-mm.
win a playoff series. Before, like you asked me a couple of weeks ago, this team is not winning playoff series because they'd probably be in the play-in tournament. Say they're the 7th seed, and they're going to play the Nets or the Sixers, and they're not winning that series.
Yeah.
But right now, say we get in a playoff series with the Hawks at the 4-5, I think we can win that series.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not afraid of any team in the East outside of the Nets and the Sixers. Yeah, yeah. So those two teams, I'm honestly the only two teams I'm afraid of because the Bucks we'll deal with later. Actually, I don't even think we'll end up dealing with them because I think they're going to get knocked off by one of the top 2 teams that I just mentioned.
Yeah.
But with the Hawks and the Hornets and even the Heat, I'm not too worried about them in 7 games. They're all resembling the Pacers of the last few years. Like we just deal with them in 4 games, maybe 5.
Yeah, I think I'd only be if the Celtics are playing like this. The Nets are the only team where I'm like, I don't think we have a chance at all. The Sixers would probably win that series, but I think the Celtics do have a chance in that one, and I know that's weird coming off of them just trouncing us the other day.
But I mean, we still fought back though. I mean, like we were down big, and then towards the end of the game, we kind of had that last second kind of like splurge of energy where we kind of just said, let's fry.
Yeah.
Let's come back.
Yeah. So
I don't think we're out of that series by any means.
No, I don't think so.
Especially with those 2 guys back.
They're a team that can make noise, but when I say that we actually could make it to the finals, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like if a major injury occurred, then yes, but
you think we have a puncher's chance, maybe?
Puncher's chance, yeah.
Okay.
I think we're like that dark horse team that can do it.
Okay.
Because if Jason Tatum, if he does what he did last year in February, where he went on a couple weeks where he was just on a tear.
Yeah, he was
and
unbelievable.
he was shooting like close to 60% from 3. If he does that again at the right time, like it looks like he's gonna start doing it now because within the last couple games he's gotten knock on wood. He's gotten what was it, like 28 and 10, 25 and 10, then 53 and 10 in the last couple games. So I mean, he's on a tear in that sense. If he can keep it up and then carry this team, and then Jaylen Brown being that like 1A guy or that 1B guy, I think we really do have a puncher's chance. But I mean, we'll see down the road.
At the very least, be a team that nobody wants to face early.
Exactly. You don't want to face us as the 4 seed, or you don't want to see you don't want to be in the situation where you're the 1 or 2 seed and you're playing Boston.
Yeah, if I'm the Bucks, I'm really hoping we don't end up in the 6th seed and have to play them. Like I don't think they'd want to play us. I think they'd rather even play the Heat, even though the Heat kind of destroyed them. They destroyed them. The playoffs last year. I think the Bucks are much better equipped to beat the Heat this year. Both because the Bucks are better and the Heat are worse.
Yeah, I don't anticipate us being in the play-in tournament, but as a 6 seed, you don't want to see us.
Yeah, the Hornets will drop off. We can hold off the
Mm-hmm.
Knicks, and there we go. 6 seed playing the Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd much rather see the Heat fall off too, and then we're in 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm. Which I think we'll see happen.
Yeah, especially if we're playing like this, absolutely.
I think in the next 3 or 4 games you'll see it.
So
Yeah. So go ahead.
I want to ask you, over the course of the last 6 games, with the Celtics playing this well, are you more impressed with their offense or defense?
I mean, I would probably go with our defense has been very good, I think. But our offense has been moving a little bit more fluently than it was, say 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna give props to our offense.
Okay.
But I know our defense has been very good as of late.
So I don't 100% disagree with that. Like if I had to pick, I would go with the defense.
Mm-hmm.
But with the way that Tatum in particular has been playing,
Mm-hmm.
he's making the everybody's life so much easier.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
true. That's what I got to give him a lot of credit for doing that.
Yeah, I think it's more because, like, obviously Tatum, but like also because we're finding ways to spread out the scoring, and like Marcus Smart, like he's getting that consistent 14, 15 here and there, and then Kemba's kind of not finding his role, but like he's figuring it out.
He is, and I think he unlocked it a little bit because he's finishing around the rim a lot better.
Yeah, he definitely is. Like when he got I think he was 1 steal, and then I think Tristan had a steal, but he had 2 fast break layups. One was an and one, in one of the last 2 games, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the Timberwolves game. But
yeah, I think that sounds right.
Yeah, but he's just finishing a lot better. He's looking a lot more comfortable in there. He's changing directions. He's getting like fired up when he doesn't get the foul call, which I love to see.
You got attacked.
I like to see when he's not smiling. I mean, I love seeing the guy smile, but I love to see when he's not smiling because that means he's focused. He's in there. Like he's ready to go.
He's not messing around.
Yeah, but Smart's scoring well. Kemba's finding his way. Brown's consistent. So I mean, it's really just a matter of where Evan Fournier fits in this offense.
Yeah, I don't think the way that Fournier plays. I don't think it's going to be hard for him to kind of slide in and find a spot.
Yeah, so like what I'm saying is I think we're trending up, and once Fournier comes in, there's nowhere but up.
Yes, so that's right. Oh, I didn't really think of it that way, but I'd agree with that. And something in your favor here is over the last 6 games, the Celtics assist percentage has gone from 29th on the or 27th, sorry, to 9th.
Let's go.
So on the season they're 27th. The last 6 games, they're 9th in the NBA. So that's not nothing. That's a huge jump. So they just play the right way, and then things kind of start falling in line. But the reason I would say defense is because it seems to me that their effort has improved, and the principles on offense are largely the same. It's just a matter of executing it. But on defense, they just seem to be trying a lot harder, really getting up in people's airspace and making them uncomfortable. And I think that's translating into good offense. So their defensive rating on the season is 14th. I saw that. I was kind of surprised. It felt like it was worse than that. But in the last 6 games, they've been top 5.
I think it goes back to what I said earlier about Grant Williams. With the whole team.
He's the
attitude.
He's the backbone of the whole defense.
Well, yeah, that too. but it comes down to like attitude and just hustle. Like it's going for those like offensive rebounds that are about to go out of bounds and you throw it back in.
Yeah, he's done that a lot.
It's diving on the floor. It's stuff that Grant Williams does, Marcus Smart's doing. All these guys need to do.
Yeah, Rob hit the deck a couple times.
Yeah. Yeah, Rob's been saving a lot of balls.
Yeah, he's been good. He's been very good. At least hustle-wise. He hasn't been as good as he was like the previous month, I don't think. But
even like long tip outs and everything like that. Like he's fighting for those second and third chance buckets. So So
Yeah.
it's going to come down to that in the playoffs. So I'm glad that we're kind of getting some of that to see now, get a little bit of rhythm.
So part of the reason why I think it's an effort-based thing that also translates over to defense is that so Tatum has gotten double-digit rebounding games 7 times
Mm.
this season.
And then 3 of them in the last 3
Three of them in
games.
the last 3 games. Before that, 45 games prior,
Mm-hmm.
he had 4.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's just a philosophical change that they made, or they're just trying to make a conceited effort to have him crash the boards, or he's just really going at it. He's just going for those loose balls a lot more aggressively than he has been to this point. So
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to Tatum being aggressive because in the first 2 games of the week, in the Sixers and Knicks game, he had 5 free throws total. I mean, he was 5 for 5, which is great. But in the second 2 games, he was 23 of 24.
that's incredible. They drove to the hoops so much in that Denver game,
Mm-hmm.
and it was
And
awesome.
and in the Minnesota game too. And
That's
it
true.
looked like in the second half of that 4 game stretch, they were a lot more aggressive offensively. And I think they kind of unlocked some of that towards the end of the Knicks game. They kind of figured it out a little bit on how to get Tatum to get loose, and then also have those other guys complement and fill in. And we kind of saw the success of that in the
Maybe,
Timberwolves game with the 53 point.
yeah, maybe Tatum just stopped complaining to the refs as much, and he got some calls.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he was still
He still does,
complaining
yeah.
all game. that Timberwolves game, it seemed like everybody was just crying after every
Yeah.
drive to the hoop.
Both teams were really mad during that game.
I was referencing Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah,
He's
he might be the only person that complains more than Tatum.
hmm
And
and it's more annoying.
yes, especially because he's not on the team that I'm rooting for.
Yeah,
But yeah, Karl Anthony Towns was really annoying. He's a great player, but he was
great player.
really
But
annoying that game.
after that game, I do not necessarily want him in Boston because I don't think I could handle having Tatum and Cat on the same team complaining. I think we would be the most hated team as a referee.
Yeah, I'm not even. If other teams, well, actually, the refs are kind of a problem. But if other teams don't like us, that's fine. I'm sure I would learn to love him because he is a good player.
I can learn to love anyone on this team.
It's true. That's why Jeff Teague was so mind blowing.
Mm.
I try to give him my
I
bias,
found
and
a
he's
way.
horrible.
I found a way to love Gerald Wallace and Chris Humphreys when they were here.
Oh yeah. Well, that's impressive.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
So Kelly Olynyk too. I mean,
Kelly was
after that
a lot
after
of
that
people.
Wizards game, it was hard to hate him. But
Yeah, that's true. It is very hard to hate somebody who saves you in a playoff series. If I was a Wizards fan, by the way, I would be so mad. Kelly Olynyk ended my
that's
season.
the guy. That's the guy.
That's
that
like my
ended their
favorite
season.
part of the whole thing is Kelly Olynyk ended someone's season.
Mm-hmm. Single-handedly.
Mm-hmm. So, over the last week, want to go over the games once, over our predictions. So, during our last podcast, you said that we're going to go 3-1, so you were right. You were right about that. But you said they were going to beat the Sixers. And what were the other ones?
I said Sixers win, Knicks loss, Wolves win, Nuggets win.
Okay, so you just mixed up the
first 2. Yeah.
first 2.
And then you played it safe with
Why you gotta be
Sixers
calling me out
loss.
like that?
Played it safe, Jeff. Sixers lost first, and then Knicks with the win, Wolves with the win, and then Nuggets we would lose. So you had 2-2.
Yeah, I was close to getting all of them right, and I have never been so happy that I was wrong after watching the Nuggets game.
Right. Yeah, so you were almost perfect.
Almost.
If you were a little bit more of a green teamer, then
So in terms of who we were going to beat, you were
yeah.
2-2, like it. So I think I won on getting the most games called right, but you got.
Yeah, you're correct. You're 3-1 on predictions, but 2-2 on actual
Yeah, so you got me on the record prediction. I got you on the game to game.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we can call that a tie this time.
I'll
I'll give it
take.
to you.
I'll take it, but you win. You win this time.
All right. So for the next week, we have we're going to Portland to play the Trailblazers.
Mm-hmm.
Going to LA to play the Lakers. And we're coming back home to play the Warriors.
Win, win, win. 3 dubs.
You're going 3 dubs.
3 dubs.
I'm so mad that we have the same prediction.
Ah,
I told you that I was all on board. And you know what I actually hate is that I think the game we have that we're going to struggle with more is the Lakers game,
Why do you say that?
not the Trailblazers. Because, like I said, I believe in our defense right now more than I believe in our offense.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lakers
Great defensive team.
will actually play defense even without their 2 guys.
Mm-hmm.
They've actually been playing really good defense. They're horrible offensively. They're
My thought is that
29
with that game,
in that span.
I feel like it's just gonna be Jason. Well, I mean, we don't know who's gonna play though, because like they could rest a few guys in this 3 game stretch.
Yeah, they honestly probably
I,
need a break, but we're in the middle of a
mm,
like a seeding race right now,
yeah,
and I don't know where they're gonna do that.
it doesn't make sense in a competitive standpoint, but I think as a long term thing, like hey, we might need Jalen's knee. I don't know. Just throw that out there. We might need him to get a little bit of rest.
Yeah, maybe they try to do that against the Warriors,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
kind of,
yeah. Maybe they set one or both.
or they
VGs.
try and blow them out early. Would be nice.
Mm-hmm. But at full strength and everything, I think with the Lakers game, I think it's going to come down to like Jalen and Jason scoring more than who Taylor Horton Tucker or
Yeah,
uh, if Kuzma's playing, maybe Markieff Morris, Dennis Schroeder. I just think the star power for the Celtics is just going to outweigh the Lakers. It's not going to matter too much for defense.
yeah. I'd go with odds are that we win that game,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't feel great about it. Um, Also because I hate Andre Drummond. Like I'm not a big fan of his.
Yeah, I didn't mention him because I'm not. I don't really get too concerned with him.
Yeah, but he's gonna have like 30 rebounds.
Mm-hmm. Do you think the Blazers game is going to be anything to worry about at all? I just chalked it up as a win just because I think we're a better team. I don't.
Well, we just watched them get kind of dismantled by the Heat, and the Heat aren't that good. But the Trailblazers have one of the worst defensive efficiencies in the league. I think they're 28th or 29th.
Yeah. It just seems like every team loves to play well against us because we're the Celtics, which makes sense.
Yeah, the only thing that worries me is that we're not a very good defensive team around the perimeter. So that's all it's going to come down to.
Yeah, and we're not that good out west either.
No, so it's if they can if Smart, Romeo, everybody really, like Jalen, can play good defense around the perimeter, then we win that game running away. But if you let them kind of get out and start bombing threes and they're falling, like we're in trouble. But I can't. There's no scenario here where the Trailblazers wipe the floor with us. So it's either going to be the Celtics win this, or it's a close game, and we'll see.
Yeah, unless Enes Kanter has another 30 rebound game, and Dame goes off for 40, I don't see it happening.
Yeah, so
but
I think with the way that we're playing recently, the Trailblazers don't, or like we match up pretty well with the Trailblazers. So I would chalk that up as a win. The Lakers are kind of the opposite of what we match up well with, but they're just not a good team with their 2 guys missing. So
yeah,
that's why that's why they worry me.
Yeah, and with the Warriors, it's kind of just like, are we going to get Steph Curry, or are we going to get,
you could throw everybody,
one of the
everybody at Steph Curry. That the rest of that roster is horrible.
Yeah,
James Wiseman's probably done for the season too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even though there's an argument that they are better without him on the floor. They're really putting an emphasis on his development, which is the right move.
Yeah.
It's just they're not very good with him in the starting lineup.
He needs the reps, but at the same time, he's definitely a negative on court. right now.
Yeah, it will be really sad if they end up losing to the Warriors. I would really like for
Hmm.
them to blow out the Warriors and then sit their guys so they're not playing 35 plus minutes on a nightly basis.
Yeah, I'd love to see a 6 game winning streak,
Yeah, and
and
they come back and
just to see
go ahead.
play the Bulls. Yeah, yeah, they come back, play the Bulls, and if we can win that, that's momentum.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be home for 3 games. Um,
Hmm.
so if they in the first game of that 3 game homestand, they can kind of rest their guys and have them sleep in their own bed. I think that
Hmm.
would go a long way. So I would be upset if they don't play well in that game. So I think the Trailblazers is going to be a win. The Lakers I'm a little bit concerned about, but they should win, and they're going to beat the Warriors. I hope they beat the
Yeah,
Warriors.
yeah, I hope we beat the Warriors. Yeah, I hope it's just a 3-0 sweep. Um, I, I mean, I can't really see any other outcome
Are you not
for
worried
the.
about? I mean, we've seen this season. There are plenty of other outcomes that could happen.
Yeah.
They could go back to what they were and go 0-3.
Well, yeah. To circle back to the main point of the show, are we back? Like, are the Celtics back? Yes, I do think so, and I think we're going to be coming back in stunning fashion.
Okay.
I think I think we're going to come into these next 3 games scoring a lot of points. I think our offense is going to be really efficient. I think we're going to see really good ball movement. But like you said, I think that defense is going to shine.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. This is a big three game stretch. I think.
Mm.
I think this is a big deal. This week is huge because going into next week they have some tough games. So if they can kind of win these ones and then separate themselves from the Knicks, the Hornets,
Mm-hmm.
hopefully overtake the Heat, um, then that would be huge going into those tough stretch.
Yeah, we play the Hornets twice in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, before the
It's
month is
like
over, they play them twice.
yeah, it's like late April.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna have a lot of time to create some separation in the East. Try to lock up that 4th spot. I mean, I think it's possible we could catch the Bucks, but I mean that's only if they drop
No, I
a
think
few more
that's out of the
games.
question.
You think it's out?
Yeah, the Bucks are steady.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty locked in. Guess what are they like? We are. Let's see. They're 3 games back. We're 8.5 games back. Like yeah, we're not. We're five. We're 5.5 games back in the Bucks, with like 20 games left. So
Yeah, but
that
that's
would be
okay.
tough.
We'll be comfortable in the 4 seed. Play probably Miami or
Or Atlanta.
Atlanta in the
Yeah, it
5th.
would be Miami or Atlanta.
Yeah,
Which I'm okay with, even though we have a losing record this year against the Hawks. But that's okay. They haven't played these Celtics.
yeah. I'm excited.
So
I'm so excited to see more Evan Fournier too when he comes back.
out of these 3 games this week, you're saying if they're going to lose one, it would be against Trailblazers.
If
Right.
they lose one, it'll. Hmm, if they lose one, it'll probably be against the Lakers. Just because it's going to be like I feel like the Celtics Lakers rivalry games are always they're always close for some reason, except for the time when we blew them out without Kemba.
Yeah, nationally televised.
Yeah, nationally televised.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I think if we lose any of them, it'll probably be against the Lakers, but the Blazers, they'll give us some sort of fight.
Hey,
But 3-0.
at least we're both making bold predictions of winning three straight games here with
Mm-hmm.
this very.
Now we're both playing it safe because we want to.
Yeah, this is
Keep this
playing it safe.
overall record.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It could very well go really poorly, and we could both look dumb come next week.
Yeah, we could drop 3 straight.
Yeah, maybe we're getting too high on the Celtics, but we'll find out. We'll find out. I'm confident.
Yeah, we're just 2 green teamers that run the podcast. It's a great point to wrap up the show. Thank you for listening. Subscribe on our YouTube channel. Check us out on all of our social media accounts at Celtics Journal on Twitter and The Celtics Journal on Instagram. Thanks for joining me, Jeff. It was a pleasure. Have you on again next week, and we'll talk more Celtics basketball.
Sounds great.
All right.